Hello, welcome to Campus View. My name is Marina Malco, and I'll be your host today. We will be discussing the Ohio State football. So let's meet our first group of student guests. Please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Jane Montgomery, and I'm a fencer on OSU's varsity team.
Hi, I'm Emily Mizak. I'm a marketing major.
Hi, I'm Cameron Gentlecore, and I'm an Ohio State student, just living life.
All right. So, nice to meet you guys. So obviously you guys are all students. So, just first thoughts, how do you think the season's going so far?
I could start. I think that the season's going incredibly well, considering that we have Ryan Day as his first year as head coach. I think he's done an incredible job. I mean, looking back to previous seasons, we will blow out most of our opponents, but then we've always had that one struggle game back with Urban. I'm interested to see if Ryan Day is going to have that happen this season, or whether he can continue this momentum pushing forward throughout the whole season.
You guys' thoughts?
I mean, I just like winning. We're winning, so
Absolutely.
can't complain. As long as we beat Michigan at the end, that's all I care about, really.
I think there's a lot of hope for this team, but the struggle with that is they got to stay focused. If you look too far ahead, look to the national championship, they might forget about some things like some crucial effort games. So they got to just take it one game at a time.
Oh yeah. So, and then here's another big buzz that everyone's been talking about around campus. We can't really ignore this. The man, the one, the only, Justin Fields. What are your thoughts about him? Do you think he's going to get the Heisman this year? How are you feeling, now that he's a first-year quarterback over here, that how he's adapted to the team and how he's becoming a team leader?
First of all, I would like to thank the University of Georgia for not believing in him.
True.
Yes. So so we got a great quarterback, and he's going to lead us to greatness.
Oh, absolutely. You guys thoughts?
He's doing really good.
That's good. Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how he goes head-to-head when it starts going into the Heisman poll votes, where it's Justin Fields against Joe Burrow, former OSU quarterback. I think that'll be really interesting, as well as Oklahoma's quarterback, since they could potentially get 3 Heisman Trophy quarterback winners straight in a row.
Yeah.
So, there's so many variables just going on. It'll be really exciting to see who gets the Heisman this year.
Oh, yeah. Here's another big question, too. Which one would you rather do? Win the national championship and lose to Michigan, or beat Michigan and lose the national championship?
Beat the team up north.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
I would win the national championship.
Oh, that's a hot take.
I
That's
agree.
a hot take.
I
Oh,
agree.
man,
I
that's
mean,
interesting.
You get a big trophy and get to
That's a
brag
good-
about it.
There's no wrong answer here, but there's also no right answer.
Michigan plays for that game. We play for the national championship.
Ooh,
Remember that.
Okay.
that's true.
All right, how about this? What are your thoughts on the game coming up tomorrow? Ohio State versus Wisconsin. Of course, they had an utterly devastating loss against Illinois, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad team. So, what are your thoughts? They have Jonathan Taylor. They have a great defense. What are your thoughts about that?
They're going to come. They're going to try to bounce back, but I think the fans are going to be big tomorrow. I think it might be close, but I think we get the job done. I think we pull ahead.
I mean, like I said, I like to win, so let's win. But I'm going for the atmosphere and cheering. I'm really good at doing the oohs and the ahs and screaming, so I'll be there, so they know that I'll be there supporting them.
Well, there's this thing in sports that people call redemption games, and I think Wisconsin, after being embarrassed on national television, losing to the 2-4 Illinois team, I think that they're just going to be really hungry coming in, trying to fight the Buckeyes in our home turf. I think that if we can, going back to the environment, I think if as students we can just bring it as loud as we can, just get really involved in the game, I think it'll be a good game.
I like that. I like how a student approach to these games. You see other teams out there too that are doing it, like Penn State, other Big Ten schools. You know what I mean? They're showing out. You see the whiteouts at Penn State. You see us with our night games. Student appreciation really matters. And do you guys feel like the students really have a nice environment here when it comes to showing out to the games and being supportive of the team? What are your personal experiences being at the school, going to the games? What's it like for you guys?
I'll start. Tomorrow I'm going to be getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, getting ready with all my roommates, prepping ourselves, being excited, and then going to the game, and then after the game having fun too. So I think everybody is always excited for the game days and the atmosphere that it brings.
I just feel, even if you love football or you don't love football, there's a place for everybody, and just like the community, and we're all supportive. So, it's a good atmosphere to be around.
Yeah, for sure. I'd call Saturday Tea Day because during every game I just go so crazy. I'm just yelling all the time. I'm starting to lose my voice, so a little bit of tea always helps after that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. And I'm going to look into the camera for this one because this is my favorite question for this, okay? I think we want Bama, okay? What do you guys think?
Oh, for sure. We
For
want
sure?
Bama.
We want
Yeah,
Bama?
we want
Okay.
Bama.
Looks like it's a hot take down there for you. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I'm not worried about Bama, because Bama didn't win last year.
That's a good point.
I'm worried about Clemson, because, they might be struggling, but they're the champions, so I'm worried about the champions.
I don't know. I mean, you had UNC game. I mean, barely pulled it out of there.
You know who I'm worried about? LSU, because I think Joe Burrow has it out for us because he's like, oh, you didn't start me here at OSU. You went and got that Georgia quarterback to take my job. And now he's just playing lights out this entire season so far. I think he's the favorite to win the Heisman so far. And I just think if we end up playing LSU in any game, he could pop off even more than he has before just because he has that revenge game against Ohio State.
Oh, yeah. And it's to know LSU hasn't played in a national championship or a playoff in any sort of close game for that in a long time. So they're gonna have that little push. But I know this is a little bit away from Ohio State football, but it affects us because we're number 3 in the country. But number 1 Alabama, number 2 LSU are playing later on this year. So who do you guys have in that game, and who would you rather play between the two?
I got Bama, and I would rather play LSU.
All right.
I'll go with what he said.
Okay.
This man stole my answer. But yeah, I think Bama's got it, but I mean, I'd love to play Joe Burrow. I just think that'd make great TV.
Oh, yeah, just Ohio State versus, ex-Ohio State.
Exactly.
But, yeah, I mean, so that's all the time we have for that. It was a great conversation with you guys. I mean, go Bucks, absolutely. Hopefully we'll take it this year. We're going to go to commercial break, and next up we're going to be talking about entertainment news. Hi guys, welcome back. This is Marino Marco again. Can't even say my name right this time, man. Anyway, so right now we're going to be talking about entertainment news, and I have 3 students with me over here, so if you guys can introduce yourselves.
I'm Troy. I'm a psychology major and film fan.
My name's Emily Mizak. I'm a marketing major.
Hi, my name is Imani Babatunde, and I'm a finance major.
All right, nice to meet you guys. Welcome on the show. Obviously, there's a lot going on in entertainment right now. One of the biggest things right now is the new Joker movie that came out. It just beat Deadpool and Deadpool 2 for number 1 R-rated movie of all time. If you haven't seen it, great movie. So my question was this your favorite Joker? If not, who's your favorite Joker, and what was your favorite Batman movie?
For me, my favorite Joker was for sure Heath Ledger. I think he did a great job in doing it when before he was taking on the role, he prepared himself immensely by going in a room and locking himself in there to feel depressed and feel everything that the Joker felt. And then there's one scene where he totally it wasn't supposed to happen, a bomb went off in the back, and he just pretend to go along with it. And so I think that's just amazing acting that he was able to do that and portray that character.
Oh yeah. Yes, Doug?
I think I also agree with Heath Ledger being really great, though I think I'll also have to give it to Joaquin Phoenix because he just has more to work with in that movie since it's based on him. You see more of what he's going through and more of his headspace, whereas he's more a character and a side character to that movie.
Yeah, I think I have to give it to Joaquin. I saw it just last weekend, and it was amazing, and I just loved his performance. Even the parts that were kind of crazy, his laughter, you kind of just were oh my gosh, he's there and he's doing this, and he's making you feel like you're watching someone who's kind of going insane. So his performance was really amazing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. See, personally, I'm gonna go with Hakeem. I think you can't really compare the two, but if I had to choose, obviously I'm going with Hakeem. I just saw the movie. I just think Heath Ledger was the best acting performance, but it's really, really close. Aside from that, who do you think is the worst Joker that's come out yet? I think it's Jared Leto. Completely awful. It was horrendous. It was just, I did not enjoy that at all. But who do you guys think is the worst Joker?
I think I'd also have to agree with Jared Leto, mostly because just it's so wildly different, and he is given almost nothing in that movie, so just he couldn't do much with it.
Oh, yeah.
I would agree with also. I thought the whole movie wasn't good. The CGI was horrible, especially for like this day and age. So yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, same here. Suicide Squad, I wasn't a big fan. I left in the middle of it, actually.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh, wow.
I didn't even get to see very much of him performing, but what I did see, I wasn't a very big fan.
Oh, absolutely. Jared Leto, you can't be too upset right now, though. You see what the fans are saying. Aside from that, let's go a little bit away from movies and more onto music. Just today, actually, Kanye West dropped his new album. So my question is, if you have heard the album, what do you think? And if not, what's your favorite newest album that's come out for you? You know, just kind of give me a little bit of, you know, what's going on in your head with the new music atmosphere going on.
I personally like the new album. I think it's really cool when an artist can totally do like a different genre or try different things. Like people give a lot of crap to like say like Taylor Swift because she's gone from like country then to pop. But I think if an artist can do that, that truly says they are a musician. And then my current like favorite new album, I really like alternative music, so probably like the band Camino.
I don't really listen to Kanye, but a recent album that I really enjoyed was AJR's Neo Theater. I just really enjoy their music. It's different, and I just really think it's something interesting, worth listening to.
And I don't really have an album, but I know Selena Gomez's new songs came out. And I think one of her songs, I think it's like "Let Me Learn to Love Myself" or something like that.
Use You to Love Me.
Yeah, I love that song, and I think,
it's good too.
Yeah, and it's received so much hate because people think it's about Justin Bieber, and maybe it is.
I mean, I kind of agree with what you're saying, but I think she went through this like 2 years ago, and then like Justin Bieber like broke up with her, and then dated like that model for like 2 months, then married the model 2 months later. I mean, that's a lot, especially like when your whole life is on camera, and then she had like a kidney transplant. So like the girl has gone through a lot. So I give her props for being able to write a song like that and put it out to the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wasn't saying that I don't dislike her for that. I think a lot of musicians write about their backstory, and that's how we get the best music. So.
I definitely think she's one of the more underappreciated artists. I mean, you see a lot of people freaking out about like Taylor Swift and Beyonce, Rihanna, Nicki Minaj. But when it comes to female artists, I feel like she's really slept on. I completely agree with you guys. But speaking about Justin Bieber, that just gave me the thought, where's Justin? I don't know what happened to Justin Bieber. I don't see any new music, nothing in the news. I know he got married. I mean, maybe did that calm him down? I mean, do you guys want more Justin, or what's going on in that sphere?
Seems kind of crazy. Like, if you like look at his social media, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? Like, you have put out such great music, and then you just kind of just stop. I understand, like, you need to work on yourself and stuff, but I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed in the guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think his last song was a collaboration with Dan and Shay. They did a song called 10,000 Hours, and he was in there with his wife. But I think, I mean, he is kind of going off the rails, I think, sometimes, but we have to remember that he was really young when he got his popularity, and I can't even imagine being in a spotlight that young and having so many people watching you. So I'm kind of back and forth with the guy.
Do you have any thoughts?
I do not follow him. I mostly just see him like, every so often, a while ago, like he'd appear on a song and I'd be like, okay. So I have no strong opinions.
See, I'm more on that, but I don't know if I was just going crazy because I don't follow him much, but I didn't see him in the news. I didn't know what was going on. So, I mean, aside from that, I mean, we have movies down, we have music down. Let's talk about like television show. Is there a new TV series that really pops out at you guys? Because I know college students are watching Netflix a lot and Hulu and hopefully cable. So, I mean, what are you guys' thoughts? I mean, what's your favorite new TV show?
I just finished Minehunters, and it blew my mind. It's kind of about kind of the development of like psychopaths and how like investigators kind of changed on investigating them and stuff like that. And it was like really cool because it's kind of like the history and the backstory, and these stories about these serial killers are really true, and I've never heard of them. And it's pretty crazy.
I definitely doubled that. I also finished recently the second season of Mindhunter, and it's a great show, and I highly recommend it.
For me, there's a show called Unbelievable on Netflix, and it's about like these detectives from 2 different states who are able to like solve a crime and come together. And the acting was amazing, and I cried a lot with it. It was really, really sad and moving.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's some great ideas, great references. I mean, so that's going to wrap it up for entertainment news. We're going to go to a commercial break, and we'll be right back with a segment about health and wellness. All right. Welcome back, everybody. This is Maria DeMarco. Said my name right this time. Right now, we're going to be talking about health and wellness. So we have 3 students with us today, and why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Hi, my name is Annabelle Adkins. I'm a student cook and community manager at Kennedy Commons and food science major.
Hi, I'm Jane Montgomery. I'm a fencer at Ohio State, and I'm a finance major.
Hi, my name is Cameron, and I'm a marketing major. Good to be here, Marino.
All right, thank you. Absolutely. Good to have you here.
Yeah, thanks.
Actually, absolutely, yeah. So I guess first things first is that there are so many people on this campus. I mean, including graduate schools, there's 60+ thousand people on this campus. So what, precautions do you take when it comes to staying healthy and being on top of things like the food?
Well, I wash my hands daily. Just be clean. You don't know when you're shaking hands. You don't know doors you touch. Just the germs. So that's one good precaution I take.
I'd say for me, being an athlete, what I put in my body with like nutrition and stuff, it's just very important. Where it's like, don't eat too much junk food. Make sure you get the right balance with the meal. For me, I gotta make sure I have enough carbs so I'm not like overburning carbs and stuff. But I don't know, just nutrition's a big thing.
Trying to get enough sleep is definitely important for your immune system as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So let's jump on the food thought, because that's a really complex issue on campus. If we're being honest, it's really hard to try to stay healthy, get good exercise, all the meanwhile trying to study and get good grades at the same time. So how much do you guys like to exercise? Where do you find time to really get like a good diet in without snacking? Like where do you guys find time to do that and put an effort into it?
Well, personally for me, the freshman 15, as they call it, turned into the freshman 30.
Yes.
So that was kind of tough. So I have a lot of midterms coming up, actually. So studying, I have a Peloton bike nearby. So I sometimes, get the steam out when I'm studying and just try to keep up with it as best as I can.
Nice, yeah, that's good. As for me, I have fencing practice 5 days a week where we fence for like 3.5 hours. So that's pretty much like all the exercise I do right there, which is good enough. But just with all the choices of food on campus, it just makes it so hard because it's like you got Buckeye Donuts open 24 hours a day, Blaze Pizza, Subway, Chick-fil-A, like everything's there. And it's just like, oh, I want it so bad, but you just can't take it all the time.
For me, the Student Wellness Center says like a physically active and physically well person is active for 150 minutes a week. I probably only really get that in biking to class every day. But food is my strong point. I do the nutritional appointments at the Wellness Center, and I work at KCOM, so I get a free meal with every shift. So if I'm ever hungry, I just pick up a shift.
Man, I should start working at KCOM. That's interesting.
We're always hiring.
Oh, yeah. Well, I would talk to you after this. Well, aside from that, I mean, that was both for our viewers and for me, too. I need to cut a couple pounds, if I'm being honest, and I'm just studying. So aside from that, this is, on a more serious note, it's becoming a bigger and bigger problem on campus and everywhere around the country. I want to talk about vaping a little bit. I mean, you see it on a wide scale basis. You see people joking around about it, like nothing beats that first crackle of a Joe pod. Like, I mean, if we're being honest, like it's becoming, more and more widespread. So, how often do you guys see it? And on top of that, I mean, what are your thoughts about it? Like, how do we stop it? How do we, take an approach on it? Do you think it's a safe alternative, or do you think it's an issue?
So all 3 of my roommates vape. So I see it every day. And a lot of the people I work with also vape. And it hasn't really been around long enough to see if it is actually safer than smoking cigarettes or cigars. But I suppose the only way to find out is just to wait out the trend and see how many people get sick, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, I think that's a good point with how recent vaping is, where we just don't know the long-term effects of vaping, which that's really difficult. I think, at least right now, they're starting to make some good decisions with like switching their advertising with Juul specifically, because I remember when vaping first came out, they had like teenagers and stuff hitting Juul pods while skateboarding and stuff, and it made it look really hip and cool and fun, and then everybody who got a Juul pod didn't know what they were getting into. So I think just with like more research and stuff, just seeing the actual effects of Juuls after a period of time will be very helpful, as well as just actually marketing the product better for its intended purpose.
Yeah, what they both said is, spot on. When I was thinking about it, it was just, through the history of cigarettes, there was people people thought it was fine back then, and then they found more information and found out that it was bad for you. And I sort of see the same thing happening in Juul. Is everybody thinks it's fine, and now there's a lot more research coming out. So I think we'll find out even more in the future what it actually does.
All right. And then speaking of Juul too, because Juul has taken over the market, if we're being completely honest. I mean, so they have just implemented this new thing where they took away all of their flavors from both their website and retail. So they've only knocked it down to mint, menthol, and tobacco. So do you think this is enough, or should they take more action? So, I mean, where's your stance on how far they should go, how much they should do? Because, I mean, it is becoming very prevalent. So where do you guys stand on that?
I would say at least it's a good start. I don't know if it's far enough or whatnot, because nicotine's very addictive. So as soon as you're hooked on that, I don't think the flavor matters as much. But that helps a lot with new people coming into vaping, where it doesn't seem as great of a thing to try because the flavors aren't there. And so it's just, why am I going to do this? It isn't as great as all the other like fruity flavors.
I personally think, Juul, I think, is expecting some bad news. I mean, if you look at all their flavors and they've consolidated down to 3, that tells me, okay, maybe they don't want to put so much money onto these other products. They are expecting a hit coming from these new studies, so maybe they're just trying to, consolidate their money and not spend too much.
I think I agree that it's a good step forward, but I also know that people who were with, like, mango was the really popular one.
Yeah.
They're just on the mint now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But again, do you think that it helps, like, now that they know they can't get mango? You know what I mean? Like, they don't want to get into it now, or?
It helps. I think it's going to help prevent people from getting into it, but I don't think it's going to do anything for the people who are already in the thick of it.
All right. Well, I think bottom line for this is that, nicotine's a drug and it is addictive. So if you are somehow addicted to a Juul or vaping or anything nicotine-wise, there are resources on campus to help you. If you are trying to quit, we would recommend doing it for the betterment of yourself. Regardless of that, this is Maria DeMarco. This has been BuckeyeTV. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. You guys have a great day now.